On the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu meets APC governors, appoints Gbajabiamila as Chief of Staff. Nigeria Labour Congress declares nationwide strike over increment in petrol price. And ports to shut down as maritime workers begin strike on Wednesday over poor welfare. Many thanks for joining us on News Now at this time. I am Mary Kanum. President Bola Tinubu has received in audience members of the Progressives Governors Forum at the Council Chambers in Abuja. The 19 governors under the platform of the ruling All Progressives Congress were led by the Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, who only recently was elected chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum. The governors say they support the federal government on the decision to remove petrol subsidy. For more details in this next report.
Kickstarting his tenure with meetings, just as he had promised he would listen to the people and involve all stakeholders in decisions that affect the nation, President Bola Tinubu has met with 19 All Progressives Congress governors at the council chambers in Abuja. This is the first time the president is meeting with the governors since assuming office on May 29 and also comes 24 hours after the president met with security chiefs. Alongside the progressive governors, Vice President Kashim Shettima, Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila, and former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Nuhu Ribadu and other top dignitaries are in attendance. Addressing various issues bedeviling the nation, the president, who called for unity amongst the governors, spoke on the minimum wage, which is pegged at 30,000 naira, saying more ways to generate revenue must be created.
If we think together and work together, Nigeria of our dream is not far away. We need to do some arithmetic and soul searching on the minimum wage. We will have to look at that. We are digging deep into the revenue of the federal government. We must strengthen the source and application of those funds.
Speaking to State House correspondents on the pronouncement by President Tinubu that fuel subsidy will end, the chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum and governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, said the president simply obeyed existing laws and urged Nigerians not to politicize the issue.
Government after government attempted to remove subsidy on petroleum products right from 1999 to date. And it has not been 100% successful. After all, subsidy has been removed from AGO. And today, 70% of the houses in various metropolis have generators installed for a source of energy. Now, what Mr. President did during the inauguration, he did not direct that subsidy should be removed. We already agreed as a government and in the National Economic Council that subsidizing petroleum products is no longer sustainable. Because for the past 2 years, we have been borrowing to subsidize. It has gotten to a point that it is either that which is no longer sustainable is managed, or there will be no Nigeria.
Uzodinma also accused oil marketers of inflicting pains on Nigerians by hoarding fuel supply.
The refinery in Cameroon is not working for the past 5 years, yet PMS is cheaper in Cameroon than in Nigeria. The refinery in Togo is not working, yet petroleum products in Togo is cheaper than it is in Nigeria. So you import, subsidized by our government, and then you sell at half the price through smuggling to all these countries, all in the name of ordinary Nigerians. So let us see how best, because the global economic situation today is near strangulation. We work out ways of making sure that the product will be available through the private sector initiative.
At the meeting, the president announced the appointment of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, as Chief of Staff and also named a former governor of Benue State and immediate past Minister of Special Duties, George Akume, to serve as Secretary to the government of the Federation. Mary Kanu, TV 360, Nigeria.
Amid fuel shortages across the country occasioned by President Bola Tinubu's inaugural speech in which he declared that fuel subsidy is gone, the Nigeria Labour Congress has declared a nationwide strike action from Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. Briefing journalists shortly before the commencement of an emergency meeting of NLC National Executive Council in Abuja, the president of the union, Joe Ajere, who alleged corrupt practices surrounding the regime, said the decision is not people-oriented and asks that an investigation be launched into the entire fuel subsidy regime and the country. Ajere also criticized what he described as the unilateral decision reached by President Tinubu on the removal of fuel subsidy without consulting the masses.
The federal government, the then minister, made us to understand that the CNG cost will be about 90 naira per litre, and that whereas the NNPC have refused to tell us the landing cost of a barrel of petroleum. Consequently, the NLC decided that if by Wednesday next week that the NNPC, a private limited liability company that illegally announced a price regime in the oil sector, refuses to revert itself for negotiation to continue, that the Nigerian Labour Congress and all its affiliates will withdraw their services and commence protest nationwide until this is complied with, and that NNPC doesn't have the monopoly to act illegally, even as a private company. The NLC NEC therefore directed all state councils and all industrial unions to commence mobilization from this moment to make sure that this action is enforced.
While still on strike actions, freight forwarders under the aegis of the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria have threatened to embark on industrial action on Monday, June 5, 2023, over the poor welfare of shipping companies in the sector. Speaking to journalists, President of the Maritime Workers Union, Adewale Adeyonju, said the warning strike is due to the failure of the management of shipping companies to discuss and negotiate the welfare and condition of service of its members despite several interventions. While stakeholders have condemned the planned strike due to its potential impact on businesses, Adeyonju said there was no going back as several meetings have been held, hence the issuance of a 7-day ultimatum to the shipping companies. He said after the first ultimatum was issued, the shipping firms were still nonchalant about discussing an amicable resolution. And the President General, Senior Staff Association of Statutory Corporations and Government-Owned Companies, Surajuddin Alakija, has faulted the announcement by the federal government on the removal of fuel subsidy, saying it is ill-timed and will have ripple effects on Nigerian workers. Alakija, who doubles as Deputy President of the Trade Union Congress, also emphasized the importance of stakeholder engagement before implementing such a decision. Our correspondent Emeka Amako files in this report from Abuja.
The occasion is the second quadrennial delegate conference of the Senior Staff Association of Statutory Corporations and Government-Owned Companies Maritime Branch. The meeting is well attended by persons of repute in the union, with a representative of the Managing Director of the Nigeria Port Authority and top members of the Trade Union Congress also present to chart the way forward for the Maritime Branch. on the back of the burning issue of fuel subsidy removal in the country, especially with the minimum wage pegged at 30,000 naira. The meeting begins with the Deputy President of the TUC criticizing the lack of transparency surrounding subsidies, referring to them as a scam.
The question we need to ask ourselves is, what happened to the subsidy that have been provided for between now and 30th of June? I think this is a period where government should engage stakeholders, especially workers, to see how we can have palliative, how we can ameliorate the effect of these subsidies. Yes, everybody agree that in this country subsidy has always been a scam. We don't even know they say subsidy is yes. Nobody can actually say this is where the subsidy is being paid to. We agree it needs to be removed.
The pronouncement by President Bola Tinubu that fuel subsidy will end has resulted in a series of events, including the introduction of new pump price by the NNPCL, but the managing director of the Nigerian Port Authority, NPA, is confident that the President Tinubu-led administration will prioritize the welfare of Nigerian workers.
The union must also, as I said earlier, must also come to the table, bearing in mind that there are lots of other things that the government has to do, not only about the welfare of workers. I am sure that this government is very much concerned about the welfare of workers.
Joining the chorus, the outgoing president of the association says the removal will have an effect on Nigerians as it affects all homes.
The very good legacy we left first, we make sure that we choose the best people to wear our shoe. Yes, it's not every issue will go to the round table, and it's not every issue will go to the rancor. You understand? There are issues that warrant us to go up, and there are issues that warrant us to sit down together. So we are all assessing that, and we agree. We came together. That is why we are united. I believe this is one of the best union regime we have ever had in the Nigerian Port Authority. We had it from our past leaders, we had it from our past management, and they have been saying it. And some of your members of the press are always with us. They know what we have done, and they know the legacy we left behind.
The Trade Union Congress has reiterated that the newly inaugurated president should tarry a while to give room for robust dialogue and consultation and stakeholders' engagement before making any decision on the delicate matter of fuel subsidy removal.
And now to security matters. No fewer than 26 suspected drug peddlers have been arrested by the troops of the Nigerian Army in two separate operations in Abeokuta South Local Government Area and Etiosa Local Government Area of Ogun and Lagos States, respectively. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Damadami, disclosed this during the bi-weekly update on the Armed Forces of Nigeria operations between May 18th to June 1st, 2023. According to Damadami, the troops, in conjunction with men of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, nabbed the criminals after raiding their various hideouts.
Troops in the southwest zone of the country have remained committed in the fight against armed robbery and other social vices in the general area of operation. Notably, on 24th May 2023, following intelligence reports on the sighting of a suspect alleged to be a close associate to a notorious armed robber on the watch list of security agents at Agbele community in Awo local government area of Ondo State. Accordingly, troops mobilized to the general area and arrested the suspect. Furthermore, on 24th May 2023, troops in conjunction with National Drug Law Enforcement Agency operators raided a suspected drug peddler hideout within some communities in Abeokuta South local government area of Ogun State. Following the operations, troops arrested 15 suspects and recovered one locally made pistol, 3 cartridges, and substance suspected to be hard drugs. In another development, troops arrested a gang of suspected criminals at Atowado Junction in Ogeli North local government area of Delta State, who are on the wanted list of troops. It was revealed that the gang members were responsible for the continuous pipeline vandalization and illegal oil refinery within the general area, and also for the attack on security agents between 7th and 22nd May 2023 while on anti-illegal bunkering operation in the forest.
Well, we'll take a break here, but still to come. Like Nigeria, Angola cuts petrol subsidy to promote economic growth. Details of the story and more when we return. Join us again. Welcome back. Now a recap of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu has received in audience members of the Progressives Governors Forum at the Council Chambers in Abuja. The 19 governors under the platform of the ruling All Progressives Congress were led by the Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, who only recently was elected chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum. We also told you that amid fuel shortages across the country occasioned by President Bola Tinubu's inaugural speech, in which he declared that fuel subsidy is gone, the Nigeria Labour Congress has declared a nationwide strike action from Wednesday, June 7th. Briefing journalists shortly before the commencement of an emergency meeting of the NLC National Executive Council in Abuja, the president of the union, Joe Ajero, who alleged corrupt practices surrounding the regime, said the decision is not people-oriented and asked that an investigation be launched into the entire fuel subsidy regime in the country. Well, in case you missed any of the news bulletin or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. And now to COVID-19 update. The United Nations Labour Agency has warned that low-income countries in Africa and the Middle East will not see unemployment rates recover to pre-pandemic levels in 2023. According to a report released by the International Labour Organization, global unemployment is expected to drop to 5.3%, representing 191 million people this year, down from 5.4% in 2022 and 5.5% in 2019 as labour markets recover from the shock of COVID-19 and pandemic restrictions. The ILO adds that interest rates remain above 10% in 37 countries, raising the cost of borrowing and making it harder to pay off debt, which skyrocketed during the pandemic. We'll take a break here and return with business updates. Join us again. Welcome back. Folashade Ogurinde now joins us with the latest business updates. Folashade, over to you.
Well, many thanks, Mary. In business, at the 7th International Chamber of Commerce Africa Conference on International Arbitration, emphasis has been placed on access to justice and the rule of law so as to ensure business continuity in an increasingly turbulent trade environment. Speaking at the conference, the Secretary General of the International Chamber of Commerce, John Denton, says the ICC have over the years waged war on commercial crime and corruption.
using the instruments we have, creating new instruments through tech, new algorithmic ways of helping determine justice. We are determined to make private justice accessible so that it can spur economic development and make those young entrepreneurs able to have confidence that disputes they have can be settled or they can access results as well. And so when we talk about our commitment to Africa, we actually live it. And hopefully what you see is we deliver on it. And when we talk about our pride in the ICC courts of arbitration, we don't rest on our history, we build a future.
Consistent with what Sir Para Williams said, that the legal practitioner lives for the direction of his people and for the cause of the advancement of the cause of his country. And we can only do that successfully if we conduct ourselves professionally and ethically. That is what we have done, and that is the contribution and the value that I believe the Nigerian Bar Association is bringing to ICC.
We need investments to fix those other issues I spoke about. Electricity deficit is as a result of poor investment in that sector. So if we create the right environment, money will come in, electricity will be fixed. But for that to happen, rule of law is critical.
We want African practitioners, arbitrators, to be appointed to huge arbitrations. We want Nigeria and other African countries to be seat and venue of, arbitration sittings or proceedings.
Investors on the Nigeria Stock Exchange have smiled to the bank in recent days, but was this momentum sustained at the end of the weekday trading? Find out after this break. The Nigerian Stock Exchange maintained a bullish trend as key market indices closed positive, helping the market experience marginal gains. The all-share index, ASI, traded 0.02% higher to close at 55,820.50 points as market capitalization gained only 6 billion naira to close at 30.4 trillion naira. The market breadth also closed positive as Stanbic IBTC PLC led the gainers list with 10% share price appreciation, closing at 44 naira per share, followed by MRS Oil Nigeria. Now on the flip side, FTN Cocoa Processors came out last with an end-of-day price appreciation of 9.59% at 66 kobo per share, followed by UPDC. Now, our market summary sees a total of 453 million units of shares with a market value of 6.11 billion naira. Exchange hands in 7,457 deals. Now, select global stocks, FTSE, Dow Jones and Nikkei all finished on a bullish sentiment at 1.56%, 1.84% and 1.21% respectively. Now, the FTSE 100 posted biggest jump since March as the U.S. economy adds 339,000 new jobs. And that's it on business news and stock market review. Back to you, Mary, for the rest of the news.
Thank you for the update. Folashade. Now on the global scene, Angola has reduced its gasoline subsidy, almost doubling pump prices in a nation that has some of the world's cheapest fuel. The decision comes the same week that Nigeria, Africa's biggest oil producer, scrapped its own subsidy, causing pump prices to triple. The Minister of State for Economic Coordination, Manuel Jr., says the subsidy reduction will take effect from Friday, adding that this would lead to an increase in the price of petrol from the current 160 kwanza per litre to 300 kwanza per litre. He added that the removal of petrol subsidy is a necessary measure to promote solid economic growth capable of addressing the serious problems facing the country. Well, it's time for Entertainment Report.
Nollywood actress actress Chacha A.K. Fanny has gotten many tongue lashes following her 10th wedding anniversary celebration with filmmaker husband Austin Fanny. Chacha took to her Instagram page on Thursday to celebrate a man, recounting how blessed she had been since tying the knot with him. However, her latest post is coming barely 1 year after the actress publicly ended her marriage to her husband for the second time. Social media users have since begun to drag the actress over this move. Terrifying health details have been revealed regarding actor Jamie Foxx's medical condition after a report claimed he is paralyzed and blind following a clot in his brain, also a series of other complications after receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. Foxx was admitted to the hospital after suffering a medical complication while filming his latest movie Back in Action on April 11, although specific details on his current health status have been difficult to discover. However, no official comment have been made by his family regarding the circumstances surrounding the medical emergency or his current state of health. That's it on the entertainment segment of News Now. Tamilore Akinkunle, TV 360 Nigeria.
And in sports, Nigeria's Flying Eagles will take on South Korea in the quarterfinals of the ongoing 2023 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Argentina. South Korea defeated Ecuador 3-2 on Thursday night to book a date with the Flying Eagles. The Flying Eagles' quarter-final clash with South Korea comes up on Sunday, June 4 at the Estadio de Unico Santiago del Estero at 6:30 p.m. This clash will be the third meeting between both countries of this level. Now that's the size of a news bulletin. Thank you for watching. I'm Mary Kanu.